That down, let's get things started off here today, shall we? We're going to talk about this. Dune Prophecy draweth nigh. I'm excited about this. Of course, I think Dune Part 2 was probably the best movie I've seen in the last 10 years. I just think it was that good. That's how much I enjoyed it. So I've been clearly looking forward to Dune Prophecy. Not super excited about it because Denis Villeneuve isn't doing it himself, but then I saw the trailers for it. I thought it looked great. And now the first reviews have come out. And they're good. They're not amazing, but they're good. Right now, Dune Prophecy is holding a 73% on Rotten Tomatoes. And the basic gist from the reviewers seemed to be, this ain't as good as the Dune movies, but it's good. The other warning that a lot of them seem to share is, if you haven't watched the Dune movies, you're probably not going to understand what's going on in this series. So it's very, very connected here. Here's what some of the critics had to say about it. Discussing Film said, Dune Prophecy, they liked it, gave it the red tomato. Dune Prophecy boasts a strong, well-rounded ensemble cast, a compelling narrative, and gorgeous set designs reminiscent of Denis Villeneuve's two films. However, some other lacking comparisons to the film are just too hard to shake off. The Wrap, again, liked it. They wrote, as it peers into the darkness in the souls and minds of its characters, it finds a potently sinister tone with the power to burn right through the very flesh, often literally, of all those caught in its grasp. Inverse did not like it. They wrote, in shaping a Dune story to fit this Game of Thrones mold, Dune Prophecy sands off the most interesting aspects of its story, while making the series feel indistinguishable from the countless other Game of Thrones knockoffs. The Fandom Wire liked it. They wrote, Dune Prophecy lacks the epic scope necessary to realistically bring this universe to life. This iteration feels like an imitation rather than an expansion of the Denis Villeneuve-directed films. Mama's Geeky liked it. They wrote, for those who are not all in on the Dune franchise, Prophecy may be a bit difficult to get into. This is very much immersed in the world, and if you do not know much of the lore, you may find yourself lost. If you love the world, you're in for a treat. And Awards Buzz wrote, they also liked it. Devotees of the franchise should appreciate the show's commitment to honoring its many, many layers, while first-time audiences might have more troubling accessing its specifics while still grasping its boldness, scope, and vision. So, it sounds like it's a good show, but if you're going into it expecting it to be quite on the level of, what I think is one of the best movies in years, maybe we'll be a little disappointed. It also sounds like if you're fresh to the world of Dune, at least according to these reviewers, it may leave you a little bit in the dust. So for me personally, as somebody who is very much into the lore of Dune, and I love the movies, this is at least a little bit encouraging to me. I was a little bit afraid it would just be terrible, especially without Denis Villeneuve there directing it. But it sounds like the overall consensus is that it's a good show, just not as good as the main one and not a good entry point. Now, Chris, you're one of the people that I know that actually didn't really love the first Dune movie.
No.
I can't even remember if you saw the second Dune movie.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
So I think it's like one of the best films in years.
Yeah.
For you, it was fine. Is this what you were expecting coming out of this? Is there anything that's surprising you in the reviews we're hearing?
I'm not surprised to hear the Game of Thrones comparisons at all.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a formula we keep seeing people try to rehash and rehash. A lot of the other reviews did talk about, too, there's a lot of twists in this show, that there's a lot of surprising things that happen. I will say this does definitely knock down my excitement because the series, to me, did look really interesting as somebody who hasn't been completely over the moon with all the Dune stuff.
Yeah.
Well, this seems like really cool world building, and I'm really interested in learning more about this lore, and maybe this will make me appreciate the films more. Kind of the same way that, the Andor series is making me appreciate Rogue One more. And this is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Hopefully these are just some people who absolutely are rabid about Dune, and so this just didn't excite them as much. I'm hoping that I'll enjoy this series still, and I'll definitely give it a go. It's just a little bit of a bummer, I guess. But when you talk about this film and how lauded it is, it does have so much hype around it that I don't think a show really stood a chance of being at that same caliber.
What's funny, though? Reading the comparisons to Game of Thrones, there's I don't know how many of you guys ever saw this, but there was an online comic I used to love, an online comic strip called Player versus Player. PvP. If you guys never read it, you totally should go back and find it. It was brilliant and funny, and I absolutely loved it. Anyway, they had this, I remember this one strip they had in PvP where there's an older guy it follows a gaming magazine, right? And there's an adult guy and a younger kid, and the younger kid is going, man, I went to go see the new Lord of the Rings movies, and it's just a Dungeons and Dragons ripoff. You know, they had the dwarves and the elves and rangers, just totally. And of course, the joke is that the older guy understands and knows that Lord of the Rings was around long before Dungeons and Dragons. I kind of get that same sense when I'm reading the comparisons to Game of Thrones. It's like,
Sure.
the whole system of the great houses and political intrigue and all that was in Dune long before there was Game of Thrones. So it is kind of funny, but the show did come first before the new movies at any rate.
And those books at least got, finished. The Dune
And
books.
those ones, as bad as they got, the Dune books got finished.
They did get them to completion.
So I don't know, it's kind of funny hearing that. I'm still looking forward to it. I'm going to see how it turns out as somebody who is really into it. So we'll see how well it works. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Miracle Made. Guys, it's hot outside and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. So if you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. There are just so many things that make these sheets so fantastic. We already mentioned the self-cooling properties for better quality sleep, but they're also self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. So go to trymiracle.com/Campea. That's TRYMIRACLE.com/Campea to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Campea at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Campea and use the code Campea to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Campea to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about the reviews we're hearing out of Dune? Apparently, for Dune Prophecy, apparently the show is good, but it's not as good as the movies, and it might be a difficult entry point for somebody who's not already into Dune. That's not an obstacle for me, but it could be for many other people. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.